Hello everyone, today we're going to be making these. They're called mandalas. They can be any design you like and every one is unique. And today you're going to be making one that's just the style you want it to be. And what you need, and you'll receive in your pack, is an old CD or DVD, a piece of foam, and some strips of self-adhesive foil. So the first thing we do is we take the CD and we draw round it onto the foam. There we are. And get your scissors and cut out the foam circle. It's actually quite nice to cut foam, it's very soft. Don't worry if you're not completely accurate, it's absolutely fine, it won't matter. There we are, nearly done. So we'll set this aside and we've got our piece of foam and our CD. So you're going to put the foam on top of the CD like that, and you're going to get your first strip of self-adhesive foil. Now you'll see on the back there's a white strip. Now this is the only tricky bit of what we're doing today. You have to peel the top, and what I do, I fold over one corner and just pull it across with my nail, and you pull it away, not completely, about 2/3 of the way, and then you're going to put this about 1/3 of the way across the circle. Press it down and then lift it up. You can see here, you just fold the foil round the CD and the foam, and then you pull away the rest of the foil. Don't worry if it folds over a little bit, and you're going to go like this across the back. Now because the back of the mandala doesn't show, you don't have to worry too much about making it smooth, but if you can keep the front smooth, then that will really be helpful. So you take your second sheet of foil and you do the same. This time, after you've peeled the corner, you might have to get someone to help you if you're struggling with this. Peel the corner and then lay it onto the CD, but slightly overlap the previous piece, only very slightly. There we are. Smooth it down, and don't worry if you've got tiny little marks on it like these two here, it doesn't matter. Lift it up, fold over the foil onto the back, fold it again. Now you'll see that the back is quite messy, but it really doesn't matter because people only see the front. And then you get your third piece, and again peel it off, and slightly overlap it with the other piece, so there's no foam showing through. Lift it up off your table and fold it over. Now I've given you an extra piece only because you might just find that it rolls over on itself and you need a bit extra, or you have a little piece, little gap like this. So what I do then is I just measure up another spare piece of foil, again peel the back off and just put it on to patch it. Okay, it's fine if it just goes over the front, just trim it if you need to, or you can leave it there. Okay, now the other thing to do is just to roll the edges of the CD to make it a little bit smoother, like that. Now here comes the really fun bit, and this is so calming and therapeutic. I would always recommend starting with a border, and you can do this by doing little lines like this, or you can do dots, whatever you prefer, and just gently press your pencil into the foil and the foam like this. Just keep going round. Doesn't have to be very accurate, just however you feel. And you do your own design. You don't have to think about anybody else's. If you want to look up mandala designs, there are some very, very complicated ones, but some of them are really lovely to follow if you'd like some ideas. And the spelling is M-A-N-D-A-L-A, mandala. And you can find all sorts of different designs, and people make them out of painting and crayons, colouring sand sometimes. But it's worth looking them up to see what other designs there are. But you really don't have to do that. Okay, so we're nearly there with our border. And what you can do is little dots round. So like this one here has got dots round the edge. So the next thing to do is to think what you might want in the middle of your picture. And I think I will do some circles like this. Just circles all the way around. They don't have to be very exact. And what I'd do then is maybe make them into suns. Do little sun rays on them. And this can, this can take you quite a while. You could do it while you're listening to some music, or just while you've got your own thoughts. You could do it with friends. Every time I do this in sessions, people do amazingly different designs. It's so lovely to see how people's creativity comes out. You certainly don't have to be an artist to do this. You just have to be someone who likes to sit and make things. And so you go round and round and round until you're happy with what you've designed. There we are. Just keep going round. Take your time. Don't rush. Now what I'm going to do, I think, in the middle of this is do a lovely flower. So there's the design so far. And I think I'm going to do a lovely flower with rounded petals. Because you've got the circles, it might be nice to have rounded petals like this. And then you can do more circles in the middle. There we are. And then maybe some lines, just to add some texture to the leaves. And then maybe just some little extra patterns out here. There we are. And you can do even more than I've done on here, or you can keep it quite plain like this. So it's so simple, but it's really lovely and relaxing to do. I hope you've enjoyed this session and come back for some more.